Here, Ukrainian activity started posing a significant threat to Russian objectives, which is why Russians gathered their forces and attempted to undercut Ukrainian forces from the southwest. According to Russian sources, Ukrainians conducted a series of offensive actions in the forest and started building formidable defenses. Ukrainian sources claimed that Ukrainians entrenched long ago, it's just that recently, Russians discovered that Ukrainians were rapidly improving the captured trenches and fortifications, which made Russians quite concerned. In fact, Russian forces found it so difficult to dislodge Ukrainian Marines from their positions that it was decided to use a new tactic. Based on the geolocated footage, Russian forces conducted an attack from the western edge of the forest that is not under Ukrainian control and tried to advance toward the central part of the settlement, thereby slowly putting Ukrainian Marines in the forest into a pocket. The main idea was not to establish firm control over this part of the settlement, but rather create a threat of encirclement by undercutting Ukrainians from the southwest in hopes of forcing Ukrainians to retreat. If Ukrainians retreated, Russians would be able to assume control over these crucial strongpoints in the forest and use them against Ukrainians. The operation started with an extensive bombardment to force Ukrainians who were holding positions inside the settlement to flee back to the islands, thereby opening the ground for the Russian attack. Unfortunately for Russians, this did not change the situation a lot because the settlement is very narrow, more precisely, around 350 meters, which is why Ukrainians do not need to maintain a permanent presence in the ruins in the first place. Some Russian analysts claimed that Ukrainians are located in the forest or dense tree areas immediately in front and behind the settlement, and the ground is under constant supervision of drones. So, when Russians launch an attack, Ukrainian drone pilots usually spot them on the approach, and Ukrainian Marines advance inside the settlement to meet the Russian assault groups. That is why all engagements here are always characterized by both parties as meeting engagements. And this is exactly what happened after the artillery preparation. The moment Russian forces started attempting to enter the village, Ukrainians were already ready to meet them. The footage shows that Russians tried to suppress Ukrainian fire to no avail, then made an attempt to change their positions, but unsuccessfully. As a result, a lot of Russian soldiers died, while a few were seen fleeing the area. Russian sources released a video showing how a small group tried to outflank Ukrainians and fired with RPG, however, this did no help. Ukrainian fighters also previously released a video confirming that the forest line is also under tight control of Ukrainian snipers. The snipers were eliminating Russian reconnaissance units that were trying to identify Ukrainian firing points prior to the main attack. Moreover, today, the commander of the famous Meteor's Birds detachment posted a video showing how his units demolished multiple pieces of heavy equipment in the forest that Russians were carefully preparing for the main assault. The first armored fighting vehicle was spotted by the drone with a thermal camera shortly after the vehicle was parked. The vehicle was promptly destroyed by the so-called Baba Yaga drones that carry at least 3 heavy mines. Meteor also said that his units are using drones to distantly mine certain areas, especially intersections. As a result, they managed to immobilize 3 more Russian armored fighting vehicles. Due to the limited visibility, they simply cannot notice mines on the corners and are easily trapped. As the vehicles cannot be evacuated quickly, Ukrainians usually have more than enough time to send Baba Yagas to finish the job. Because Russians were preparing to use these vehicles for an assault, they were fully loaded with ammo, which resulted in a powerful detonation that tore the vehicles to pieces.